So let's talk about Power Hour. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky here with TechBud Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Friday. I wanted to recap the overall day very quickly. $8,344.43 is what I walked away with for SQQQ. Last minute, I took an overall last minute trade. Went from 7,000 to 8,000, but and again, nothing on TQQQ, as you can see. Didn't trade this one at all today, but SQQ is where I made most of my money today, or literally all of my money. What is Power Hour, and how could this be of significance for someone that is just getting started? So Power Hour is referred to as the last hour of the market open. So for me, being in Arizona, market closes at 1. So an example would be is that Power Hour is from 12 to 1. When there is a huge amount of volume that presents itself during Power Hour, most of the time it tends to happen a little bit prior, just like it did today. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because it's not that it always happens, as again, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. But as you saw, QQQ, right? When it broke below the EMA line, it was very overbought. It was very bullish. NASDAQ market looked extremely bullish and unstoppable. But just like anything, as quickly as it goes up, it can quickly correct itself. And that's exactly what happened today. And if you're part of my LPP team, I called it all out during our trade ideas section, probably more today than I normally do. And the reason why, it was just such a beautiful setup. I normally don't even always trade Power Hour, but I focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's direction and, of course, the price action that follows, making sure that we are seeing progress on the upside. You might be asking, well, Ricky, how are you seeing progress on the upside? Let me explain to you very quickly. The way that I personally trade is I trade NASDAQ ETFs. So there's always money to be made as long as there's one thing that presents itself, and that's direction. If the market's bullish, I go into TQQQ, which goes up when the NASDAQ market goes up, as it did here, right? Or if the market sells off, just like it did, right? Then I can go into SQQQ. SQQQ is the inverse ETF, and that goes up when the NASDAQ market goes down. So as you see, right around where it says 1347, it began to sell off, and it sold off till market close. SQQQ, right, at 1340, began to indicate signs of an uptrend. So they're exact inverses of one another, TQs and SQs, right? And it's very simple. On the 5-minute time frame, it really slows things down for me. So I don't know about you, but I am someone that often makes a mistake in over trading and sometimes buying too early. So a way that I do that is I try to focus on a larger position size. I can talk about that a little bit later, maybe in a video this weekend. But when it comes down to position size, I'm never afraid to take advantage of an opportunity as long as I size down, right? I feel like most often the reason that a beginner trader is scared when they originally enter a position is because they've entered with 100% of their position size. So I like to take a different approach. I like to buy with 5 or 10%, and then I add more to it when direction is confirmed that it's going my way. And when the actual trade itself is making me money, then I'll fuel it more money so it makes me even more, right? It was very easy to see what our previous highs were for SQQQ. It was very easy to see that we were oversold, and all I really needed to wait for was confirmation. And that's what I called out with my Learn Plan Profit team. I posted it in the trade ideas, and I set my alerts. On the 5-minute time frame, it wasn't until it broke above the EMA that I actually began to step on the gas. It broke above, it pulled back below, it held above, as you could see, this pullback, it held above the EMA line and then actually continued to indicate signs of an uptrend. It went to retest the moving average. It broke above that and then ended extremely strong. I didn't sell at the highest level. I sold pretty early as we were approaching previous highs because I wanted to play it safe. But again, the beautiful thing about Power Hour that I really like to focus on is one of two things. Either we're going to have a very strong end to the day, the same direction that the market was going, or we can see a quick shift of direction just like we saw today, which is my personal favorite. I personally love to trade reversals. Reversals are not for everyone and they can be very risky. But when managing my position size, and if I really focus on waiting for confirmation, it can be very profitable, as it was for me today, walking away with $8,344.43. If you look at the overall perfect move, right, from overall lows to overall highs, which again, that was not my trade, but I always like to look into this, 3.73%. I do want to disclose that even before this, I was already up a little bit over $4,000 on the day from one of my earlier trades this morning, right? So it's not that I made an insane amount on this last trade, but again, my entry and my average was above EMA. So for those that always obsess about always needing to buy in super early or needing to buy at the lowest price point, you can still be profitable without needing to feel the need to be perfect, right? To me, it is much more important to wait for confirmation and direction to be in my favor than to buy at the lowest price point, because one of the worst feelings, and let me know in the comment section if you agree, is when you buy the dip and then it continues to dip. The dip keeps dipping, right? One of the worst feelings. So instead of putting myself in that very tough spot by waiting for confirmation and or at least sizing down until we get that confirmation, then I can really step on the gas when something is already making me money, right? And then as we begin to approach previous resistance levels, I try to never hesitate to lock in profits. And I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. My LPP team gets to watch me trade live every morning, and there's many times that I hesitate to sell, but I work on it, and I try to every single time that I'm up at bat. I try to lock in profits, sometimes even earlier than most people will, but it's because I want to continue to work on building healthy habits. There's always room to get better, right? And even with not being a perfect trade, I was still able to walk away in the green. And I just wanted to use myself as an example that sometimes, and again, at least for myself, sometimes I often feel that a beginner is so focused in feeling the need to be perfect and not focused enough in building healthy habits. And in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I believe it's so much more important to build healthy habits rather than being someone and feeling the need of being perfect. And I actually didn't realize that I wasn't sharing my screen for part of that, so I do apologize. But as you see here, from overall lows to overall highs, from 1879 to highs of 1949, we could see 3.72%. This was the earlier trade that I took in the morning. Then the market sold off. I cut losses on the second trade. I was up about 6,000, and then I cut losses on it. I lost about 1,500, and then I went in for my re-entry, added more when I got confirmation. And then as we broke above the moving average, I began to sell as we got closer to the previous resistance range. It was just a beautiful setup. I love trading during power hour if and only if the opportunity presents itself and the conditions are favorable. Remember, you are the final decision maker on when you choose to trade. So this is, again, just a reminder for you that you get to control the opportunities that you get to take advantage of, right? So other than that, again, I just want to make sure that you are aware, as of right now, according to this Fed rate monitor tool, there is a 93% probability that the Federal Reserve is going to raise rates on the next FOMC meeting. But again, have no fear. I will make sure that I keep you guys up to date with all the different economic reports that are set to be released in the up and coming weeks. All I ask you to do is make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a thumbs up if you feel like we earned it. I did talk about them in this video. It's my Learn Plan Profit group. They are the only group that I work with on a closer basis and that get to watch me trade live every single day. If you want to learn more about it to see if it's a good fit for you and you can watch me trade live as soon as Monday, it's going to be the second link in the description down below. And if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to send me a direct message via Discord or via Instagram, and that's the first or third link in the description down below. I am using the Webull trading application. You do not have to, but if you would like to use it, feel free to use my link and deposit $5, which is the fifth link in the description down below, and you could earn up to 12 free shares just by signing up. Appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.